Hello, hello, hello. Thank you for joining me for this presentation about how to customize your listing presentation by using RPR reports. We have access to our listing presentation online through Prime Agent. And on the screen, you see the sample of the first page, which on the bottom you can see you can customize with your client's name, the property address, and obviously as you look through the pages, you can customize it with your information on it. You can add your picture, your contact information. Obviously, the office has to be included in everything you do, as well as the phone number. And then you go into customizing the property information and what is important or what you feel is important to discuss with those sellers. You have to remember that your listing presentation is the most important part of obtaining a listing. It is your resume because it shows the seller not only what you have done, but also what you will do for them and how to get the property sold. Honestly, that is really what the owner cares about. So you reach a page where you are going to be talking to the seller about the marketing program that you will be using to market their property to find that special buyer they need in order to sell their property. So looking through the listing presentation I'm showing you now, you see that you want to talk to the sellers about where buyers are coming from. You want to talk to them about how long it's probably going to take and what are the steps necessary to get their house sold. You also want to talk about the tools you will use in order to promote the property and market the property. After you have spoken to the seller about their goals and what they're expecting to get in the sale of their property, you need to really sell your marketing plan so that they feel more comfortable hiring you. As you can see on the screen, obviously we use the multiple listing service, we can use our sign, we can use the internet to promote the property, and other strategies such as video tours, customized video, photo shoots, advertising campaigns, special flyers. And we also want to tell the seller that we have a network of experts that we will be sharing the property with to share the property to find that special buyer. So there is a review page that shows them what you're going to do and how you're going to do it. Then we go into the comparative market analysis where you can also customize that information in order to get the right price in the lowest time frame possible. Now, during this presentation, if you have any questions, you can put them in the chat and I will try to answer everything before we finish this presentation. But let's talk here about how to customize your presentation. And we have just reached the point of the presentation where you can really go into customizing what you want to show the seller and how you are different from everybody else. So I am going to share my screen and show you in RPR. Just 1 second. I am going to show you in RPR how you can go after you have created your market analysis. Okay, this class is not going to cover how to do a market analysis. That's for a different topic and for a different day. But once you have created your market analysis, you can go into the RPR report and actually create a report. You can see that you can do a property report, a seller's report. This is the one that you can choose to use in order to customize what you want the seller to know about that market analysis and how you are promoting how you're going to choose the price with them And after you have already discussed what you plan to do, these are the different screens that you can use in order to customize your presentation. You can also create a property flyer. I'm not going to show you that right now. Or you can do a mini property report, a valuation workbook, a market activity report. A neighborhood report is something that you can also create in order to let the seller know what is happening in the neighborhood. And that would be more helpful for also buyers that are coming into the neighborhood that don't know the area. And finally, the bottom one is a school report that you can also incorporate into your presentation to show the sellers what you are going to show buyers that are interested in that particular school system. You are able to personalize your report by adding the seller's names and a customized message. Finally, on the bottom, the delivery method. You can download into a PDF file, or you can email your presentation or your RPR report to the client. And then once you choose what you want to do, you run the report, and I actually already created a report. This particular report has 56 pages. I'll tell you right now, you do not want to give a report of 56 pages to your client because they may get confused. The first page is customized with whatever information you uploaded. You could have uploaded a picture of the property, your own picture, your contact information, your name, and the company logo. Then in the seller's report, you will see the current estimated value of the property, the last time it sold, which comes from the public record. This page can actually be included in your presentation. And in one of those pages that I showed you before. The home facts are information of what is included in the public records, information that is found from any listing information from the multiple listing service. In the right-hand column, you can see Realtor Refinements. This is information you can add in the front page when you're creating your report. Extended home facts includes the exterior details, location details. You can see in location it says walkability score. If you're in an area that is very walkable, where you can walk to the store, you can walk to shops, you can walk to the supermarket, you can walk to the houses of worship, you can walk to schools, these can be very valuable information for a potential buyer. So you want, if that is something that will highlight your market, your presentation, you can include that, telling your seller how you're going to promote the property with those walkability scores. It also includes the schools that particular school district includes in that particular area. You have the property history, as you can see on the screen. We have the value of this particular property is in yellow, and then the zip code, the county, and the values or the property history in New Jersey. This includes the median estimated home values from 2006 until now. So this is information that the seller can see how over the years the value of their property has increased and decreased as changes have happened in the market. Then we see right below that the sales history. This shows the seller that you are aware of what has happened in the past several years with their property. It includes the sales history as well as assessed value. It also includes mortgage records and deed records. You don't have to use this, but if you feel that it is part of what you want to show the seller, that you went through the trouble of doing intensive research to find out about the property, then you can include these reports in your presentation. The next page shows the assessed value, which, as you should know, assessed value does not equal market value. Assessed value is what the town determines to be the value for tax purposes. While the assessed value may stay the same over several years, in the state of New Jersey, towns are supposed to, or municipalities are supposed to do a reassessment every 10 years. But the market value could have changed over the years to have a dramatic difference in between the sales value and assessed value. But if the property has been reassessed recently, you will see that the market value and the assessed value are very close to each other. But if it has not been reassessed in several years, then you're going to see a big difference. So you may take this page out, or you can use it depending on the situation. The next page that you can use in your report is the market activity for the zip code. It also puts in the picture of the map where the location of that subject property is in comparison to the rest of the neighborhood and the area. So this is going to give you not necessarily the value for that property, but for the neighborhood, for that zip code. It gives you the median estimated home value, the median listing price, the days on RPR, and also the sales volume. The next report you can use is the comparison between listing price and sales price. So when properties have been selling above listing price, you see the bars in blue. And if it has been sold, or properties that have been selling in that particular area below listing price, you see them in yellow. And the number of properties sold or sales in the last few days. The average price adjustments, if there have been any changes in price, you will also be able to see that on the report. Market health charts and comparisons is for that particular neighborhood or area, or based on zip code. The seller's report also includes median listing price versus listing volume, listing inventory. So you can see in the middle of the chart, you see single family homes. There were 98 in this particular report, while there were 12 condos, townhouses, and apartments, and there were 12 multifamily properties. So if you're comparing a condominium, you can show that the listing inventory at this time is 12 condominiums. If you are comparing or doing a market analysis in a presentation for a single family home, you are able to show the seller how many homes total in single family properties are there available. Okay? And then it gives you a chart, price per bedroom of homes sold. Not on the market, but sold. The next page, you see the median sales price by square footage, price range of homes sold, price per square foot of homes sold. Then you see on the next report, age range of homes sold. You can see that this particular property, which is in yellow, is 90 years old, while other properties of comparison might be 70 years old. And there are 10 that are much, much younger on the comparables, between 45 and 50 years old. So if your subject property is 90 years old and the majority of the comparables are 45 to 50 years old or half their age, you're going to have to account for that in the listing price, and possibly not much of a difference in the sales price, but buyers usually tend to prefer a younger home over an older home. This is something that if it affects your listing price, it should be discussed with the seller at the time of the listing. Then the next section talks about the inventory of distressed properties. Obviously, if you're working with a seller who is in a distressed situation, you have to include that in your conversation and how that situation may affect their sale price or time on the market. But if the property is a regular sale, the number of distressed properties should be discussed because those are properties that buyers will likely look at. But if your property is in better shape, better condition, and is in moving condition or has been updated, and it doesn't have a distressed situation, the sale may, the buyer may prefer that over a distressed sale. You also see over the years the median days on RPR. And this is the time that the property has taken on the market, active for sale in RPR. And you can see that in 2016, between 2016 and 17, the days on the market were much higher. It was 140 days on the market. And the time frame has actually been lowered over the years to now we have on average a little more than 60 days on the market, but less than 80 days on market. And this gives you a comparison of the zip code, the county, and the state of New Jersey. And these are really good numbers that you can show your seller because that shows that you actually know the market and what is happening and what has been happening in the past. So those are overall statistics that you can share and use to show the seller about your knowledge of the market. But let's go a little bit into more detail about that particular property and what the competition is. Now, I did not eliminate properties from here because I want to show you how if you make a general search, you can get a lot of information out. But of course, in your expertise, you need to go in and eliminate the properties that don't match, that are either too large or too small, or that don't compare, or that are outside of the area. You want to be as close to the subject property as possible when you are comparing that particular property. But again, we have a lot of statistics here because I did not actually choose anything. I just wanted to show you the potential of all the properties that you could get. So this map shows us the subject property in yellow. Anything that is under contract is in a dark blue. Anything for sale or lease is a little bit lighter blue. Distressed properties are in red, and properties that are distressed but are in pending status, meaning they received an offer, they're in a burgundy, a dark, very dark red. Recent sales, those are properties that sold in the last 6 months, are in green, and off-market properties are in gray. So you can see here the total number of properties for sale at this time are 6. There are 8 sold, 8 distressed, and 8 expired or off-market properties. This gives you the lowest listing price, the median, which is the one smack in the middle, the highest, and the median living area. So this gives you the square footage of the property. Median price per square foot, median days on RPR. These are your days on market. And then the median age of the property. So this is an overview. If you had gone through and eliminated anything that doesn't match or that is too far away, then obviously this chart or this map is going to have, more accurate information for that seller, and that applies to that particular property. Then we have the specific properties that were used in the report. As you can see here, the subject property and the for sale properties. Remember, there were 8 of them, or was it 6? No, there were 6 for sale. So this is going to give us the first 4, and then in the next page, it gives us the next 2. So this is an overview and a side-by-side comparison. And the good thing about this is that it also gives us the comments that, the description in the comments of that particular property. So that's why before you run the report, if there are properties that don't match, you can eliminate them, and then that will give you everything side by side in one page. I prefer to do between 3 and 4 properties that are very close and comparable to the subject property. I really prefer not to go into 2 pages. Okay? So you would have to eliminate the ones that don't match. In addition to that, each individual property of these 6 active properties for sale right now, then the next thing that you will see is that the report gives you each property in a separate page. It shows you the picture of the front, it shows you the map, and how far away from the subject property it is. It gives you all of the details. It gives you what the listing price is at this time, the last time that it was updated. On the left side, you can see how many days it has been on RPR and the current estimated value. Notice below that is an RVM confidence. So 4 to 5 stars is pretty accurate on the price. You can see that the listing agent listed it very close to the estimated value of it. So the higher the number of stars, the more accurate the valuation model is. If you have only 1 or 2 stars, then that is not as accurate, and you have to do a little bit more research to determine what is the actual value of that property. So I'm going to scroll through quickly. Notice this one is actually on the same street, 398 Hoover Avenue, 368 Hoover Avenue. This is actually the same complex. And notice that the one where they're showing the updated kitchen is listed for a little bit higher, and the current estimated value is different than the first one, although it's the same number of bedrooms. Okay, so I'm going to scroll through each one of the 6 properties because I want to get to what actually determines the value of a property is not the actives. That is your competition. But the sold properties, the recently sold properties, are the ones that determine the value of any property. So notice here that we have the side-by-side report, and there were a total of 8 properties. So we have 2 pages of this. Again, I can't stress it enough. If a property doesn't match the subject, you eliminate it, and you want to end up with 3 to 4 properties that are most comparable and closest to the property. So in this particular area, we have this page, we have 2 properties in the same complex, which is Hoover, and the subject property is in the same complex as one that recently sold, or 195. Okay, so And then there's one on John Street, which is just a couple of blocks away. Because you can see the comments, you can also see whether it's updated, not updated, original, how many bedrooms or bathrooms it has. So that's where you can go into eliminating properties that don't match. So we have the second page of the solds, and then again, this shows you one by one the values. And look at this one. This one, the current estimated value as of October 15th was $244, and it sold for $242, November 1st of 2019. And notice that it has 5 stars. So that is very, very accurate, very, very close. On the next one we have, the estimated value was $178, but it sold for $165. It still has a good rating because it's 4 stars. But I just wanted to show you how that works. Okay, I'm gonna move up to the next section here, which is the distressed properties. Obviously, like I said before, if the property is not distressed, you can just totally eliminate these pages. But if it is a property that is in a distressed situation, you definitely need to leave these because these are going to be very comparable. And the time frame for selling are going to be affected by whether it is a distressed situation or not. So I'm going to skip this just to save some time. I want to get to the end of this because there are a couple of other pages on the bottom at the end that are very important to use in customizing your report and your listing presentation. The recommended pricing strategy gives you an overview of the market activity for the properties for sale, which are your competition, distressed properties, expired properties, and sold properties. It gives you the lowest, the median, the highest price. It also gives you the price per square foot and the median days on market, or in RPR, which is usually within a day to 2 days of being on the MLS. Notice here, when you have the conversation with the seller about price, you are able to discuss what is the best strategy for listing the property based on the prices that is going to be most likely selling. And you are able to ask the seller for their signature, so that if you chose to take the listing and it happened to be priced higher than you wanted, but you explain to the seller what the value is currently and they don't want to hear it, sometimes that happens, you can go back a month later and say, look, we tried your price and we had the conversation and now we need to have a price adjustment. This also shows to your broker and to yourself that you actually had that conversation. And then you have to make a business decision. Do you keep the price where it is? Do you do more marketing? Do you keep on showing to the seller what the real value is? And then, it's part of your pricing strategy. You need to explain what the value is and then make a decision what is the best price to list it at. In the next page, which is also a great way to show the seller what they're going to net. If you go on a lower price and a higher price, you can show them based on the price that it sells for. You can ask the seller what their loans are, the estimated closing costs, which obviously includes commissions, escrow items, fees, if they're going to offer a home warranty, any work that may need to be performed to the property to make it sellable, any pest inspections, or any termite work that needs to be done, the cost associated with paying off their mortgage and recording that in the county records, as well as if there's going to be any title issues that need to be addressed. If there are any seller's concessions or seller conveyances, if there's any other things that come up, and then you can give the seller an idea of how much they're going to net. That is really what matters to the seller. How much am I going to end up with at the end of the day once the property sells? So you can use any of these pages to customize your listing presentation and decide, how you are going to differentiate yourself from the competition and make your listing presentation stand out by using the tools available through not only your listing presentation, what is available in Prime Agent, but also how you can include property reports from RPR to make it, more valuable for the seller to decide to work with you. Okay. I don't see any questions in my chat box, but if you do come up with any questions while you are customizing your listing presentation, please feel free to reach out to me by email at dianabustamante@realtyexecutives.com or reaching me at the office. I appreciate the time you spent with me today, and if you have any questions, please don't forget to reach out. Thank you so much, and have a wonderful, wonderful rest of the day and wonderful weekend. Goodbye.